Good morning, Rabbi Isai. Live from Chicago, from Chodorov. We're back. So I'm feeling a lot better than last night. Last night I gave a shiur. It was 2 a.m. for me after a full day of traveling. It was hard. It was hard. Today is better, much better, I should say. I got to sleep on the plane. There might still be some lisping going on. I don't know. It could be it's the microphone. It could be it's my. Right now it's kind of late. What time is it in Eretz Yisrael right now? 5:25 in the morning. It's 5:25 in the morning. Ivaldik. But I feel better. I feel like I'm awake, and I'm talking to somebody. At least I have somebody in the room, not talking to myself. So yishkar for having me. Yishkar for being here. Tend to be here like till 4 or 5 days after Pesach. And during Chol Hamoed, it's difficult because I'm like 40 minutes away in the suburbs. We'll have to see what to do. I don't like that situation either because, again, I'm in a small room in a hotel talking to myself. It's much more geschmack when there's an audience. Okay. So here we are. It took me about a day and a half to get here. It was unbelievable. You know, the flights were canceled and everything. We had to go first to Cyprus, then to Austria, then here we are. It was an 11-hour flight from Austria. In Austria, I said last night in the shiur, but I don't know if you guys got to hear it. So I'm standing on the street with my family with 4 small suitcases getting Ubers. 2 Ubers in a row. 2 in a row. Stopped, saw that I'm a Yid. Adios. They just kept on going. You realize that anti-Semitism around the world, and a frum Yid, he stopped. He said, how can I help you? I want to do a mitzvah. He took us to the hotel. It was beautiful. So that was our little experience over there. I'll tell you another very interesting thing. I don't know if there's something to learn from me. I thought it was a good lesson for my children, although it could be a negative one, as everything else in my life. Coming off the plane was 40 people. I was probably 40 people in, and nothing's moving. So the minute goes by, 2 minutes, 3 minutes. And I see in front of the door's not open. They're not going. So I say, excuse me. And everybody says, oh, this rude Jew. No, that's what they think to themselves. I get to the front. I asked the guy in the front, what's going on? He says, the door's closed. I said, so let's open it. He says, no, you can't. It says, alarm will sound. I said, okay. I opened up the door. And everybody left. And they're all clapping. And they're saying, Yishkoyach. It's like, if you want to follow the herd and just stand there and be a goylem for 10, 20, until what? Until the next flight comes? Like, you're just standing there. You got to be proactive. You can't just listen to the oilam. You got to do your own thing. Okay, anyway, that was my lesson. Other people say, it was one guy said, I don't know if he was being sarcastic. He says, us Austrians, we listen to the rules. Maybe he was explaining why not. I don't know if he was trying to stuff me. But anyway, fine. Boys, here we go. We don't have that many emails today. We're just getting into it a little bit. I just wanted to share this with the MDY family as a great art hesber for the concept that can resonate with the olam of tiva and peira. Let me just show this. Remember, Pesach is the holiday that a goat costs 2 zchusim and matzah $70 a pound. By the way, talking about the tremendous Akar Satoish that Shimi brought him from Barbark Matzahs, he sent me, I didn't open up the box yet, but it was a huge box. So you should go out for that. Last year and all throughout the year, that's what I ate. Givaldic stuff. Thought we've met in person several times. I'm the guy from Baltimore that has been coming to the shiur in RBS for the last week. So this is Yehoshua Feldman, who sat next to me the entire week. And this is the email I get from today. You know the guy? Feldman? This is my first time sending an email. I'm sorry to do so under such circumstances, but I just learned that my father's in the ICU in LA and he's Rachmi Shemayim. My sponsor tomorrow's shiur. His chuzur before Shleima from Noach Ben Gissa. If the oil could please have him in mind, it would mean a lot to me. Hope to write again soon. Thanks for all you do, Yehoshua Feldman. Then he sends me another email today. My father's just nifter this morning. If possible, please update my sponsorship of the shiur to be Lili Nishmas Noach Ben Moshe, not Gissa, I guess. So the Shoma should have an aliyah. It's unbelievable that he came every single day and he came a few times with his children. He had a son in TC. He has a son in TC, so it's very nice. All right, the Shoma should have an aliyah. I just made it in there. Rabbi Isai, one more from Avram Milwarm walked into the mechanic, and this holy yid was sitting learning with his son while waiting for his car to get fixed. Didn't get his name, but it's in Lakewood. Givaldik. All mechanic shops look the same, basically, in all cities of the world. That's what a desk in a mechanic shop looks like. The Masech is sponsored by Anonymous for the safe and speedy return of all the hostages. Paras HaChodesh, Nishma Zechariah Ben Moshe, Nishma Chaya Bas Yosef. Paras HaChodesh, Ahron Fraiman, zchusim for rebellion for the siyadta, dishmaya, teaching Torah to Klal Yisroel. Paras HaChodesh, Yosef Ben Chaya Sara for zchusim that come from supported limud HaTorah. Paras HaChodesh, Binyomin Rosenfeld for hatzlacha and business in all my endeavours. Lili Nishmas, Noach Ben Moshe from his son, Yehoshua Feldman and family. Paras HaYoim, Nachos Friends. Mazda, Nachos Friends. Lili Nishmas, Sharona Bela Bas Yirachmiel. And the art of the month, anonymous of the zchus, for an easy childbirth, for his daughter and a healthy baby. I hope this thing is just, like, nobody's taking care of this and just stayed on, because it seems like his daughter is pregnant for a very, very long time. This might be the next kid already. All right. We're here with the Heilige Abi and the Heilige Reb Zalman and all the Chaverim. Reb Sichel, right? What's Seichel? You think I'm going to... Shkai for coming all the way from Baltimore, especially for the shir and for business and everything else you do. Reb Chiel's there, and everybody else. Rabbi Rosen, Yishkoyach, and Rabbi Ben Zev. And what's our setupper? What's your name? Ahron Castle, Yishkoyach for setting up every day. Beautiful. So yesterday we had a machloikis between Rabbi and Reb Elchanan. If a person gives an iravain, a down payment, does the down payment cover the entire whatever we're talking about, or just whatever the down payment amount is? So we'll see now in the sugya a little bit more what that means. Here's something interesting, Stam, to think about during shir, because we're going to be talking about Einah a lot for the next few days. Einah is when you are charged if you overpay a sixth or underpay a sixth. So here's Stam Shayla. If a person bought, let's say, $100 worth of stock, and the stock went up by 90%, and then it dropped by 50%, how much money did he make?
40%. No, that's not. He lost $5.
That's right, he did. he lost $5. Yeah? If it went up by 90% and then went down by 50%, so he lost money. It's just something to think about. It slightly negates our sugya. Just don't get too confused. Thought it was interesting.
You lost $95.
No, I think he's right. How much is half? It went up by 90%, so it went to 190. How much is half of that?
95.
Exactly. So it went from 100 to 95. So you lost $5. Let me get that note. Hamal is chaveroi ala mashkoin v'nichnesa shmita. So we have the famous halacha of shmita. So you all remember when it was the year of shmita, we wrote a pruzbul. What does a pruzbul do? The Torah says that if you have a loan and shmita comes at the end of shmita, the loan is canceled. Canceled. You shouldn't bother the guy. Leisigos. But there's an exception to the rule. If the borrower, the lender, is not going to bother the borrower, why? Because he has collateral, then there's no problem. So I guess the question really is, how much collateral? Does the collateral have to cover the entire loan? Because then he won't bother him at all. Or the collateral could just cover a part of the loan. Again, yeah? Geshmak halacha here. Shemitah is mishamet. Shemitah cancels loans. But if there's collateral, it doesn't cancel. You could keep a loan through Shemitah if you have collateral. Now the question is, how much collateral? For the entire loan or part of the loan? Hamal v'es chaver ala mashkoy v'nichnas ha'shmita. He has collateral. and Shemitah comes or Shemitah left, even though the collateral is only half of the amount of the loan, let's see, here we go. No, I don't know if you guys saw it, so let me put it up here. He gives him a loan, he gives him a sweatshirt as collateral. The collateral is only worth half of the loan. Comes Shemitah, even though the collateral is only worth half of the loan, the cancel, the same thing. The loan is not canceled. Typically you have Shemitah, you have the Shemitah is Mishamet. Shemitah cancels the loan. It's like almost counterintuitive, like a lot of Gemara. It not Mishamet. In other words, not canceled. The guy still, the borrower has to pay the lender. Why? Because since he has this sweatshirt, he's not going to press the issue. The problem is pressing. I don't want you pressing people for the loan. He's not. He feels comfortable. He has something. Divrei Reb Shimon Gamliel. Let's see what Reb Shimon Gamliel says. Oh, Reb Yehuda Hanasi. This is not yet, so I'll take it off for a second. Reb Yehuda Hanasi Omer Rebbe says Im Hayo Mashkin Keneged Alvasoi Eino Mishamet. That's provided that the collateral covers the entire loan. Then only then the loan is not canceled. Vimlav, and if it doesn't cover the entire thing, Mishamet, the loan is canceled. Let's understand, says the Gemara. What does it mean it's not canceled? Oh. So since the mashkin is worth 50%, let's say, so 50% of the loan is not canceled. The other 50 is canceled. Interesting. Sometimes the Gemara calls him Rebbe, sometimes Rebbe Yehuda Hanasi. Rebbe Yehuda Hanasi Savar, Lach Paga, Nami Mishamet. Nami Mishamet means, what does Nami Mishamet mean? Cancelled completely. In other words, the mashkoin, the collateral, doesn't help at all. Zero. So according to Rebbe, Mishamet Akol would mean loan is canceled. The guy goes scot-free, the borrower doesn't have to pay a dime. Says the Gemara, the mashkoin, the noket lamale, top of Mem Tesam and Aleph. So what did he gain by giving a collateral? What did he gain by keeping a collateral? What does the sweatshirt help him? Elalav, Shmamino, Mayenu Mishamet Akomer Reb Shimon Gamliel. So now we have to change it. But the Gemara is going to go back to this, and the Gemara is going to actually use this and say, I'll tell you why there's a mashkin. If I can tell you why there's a mashkin, then it answers. But the Gemara, okay, now it's still nahavim, you know? There's no cancellation according to Reb Shimon Gamliel. So let's go to the next chart here. Oh, you're not even on here. Okay. So before, it was, according to Reb Shimon Gamliel, there's only 50% doesn't get canceled, and according to Rebbe, the whole thing gets canceled. And now we're switching it a little bit. Rebbe's taking Reb Shimon Gamliel's shita, and Reb Shimon Gamliel is stepping it up. We're just going up a step. According to Reb Shimon Gamliel, it works for the entire loan. There's no cancellation at all. The entire thing. Why? Because there's a mashkin. So that's similar to the story we had yesterday. That if you have a little bit of a down payment, it grabs the entire thing. Yeah? If you give a guy, you're buying $1,000 worth of chocolate, and you give the guy $100, the entire $1,000 becomes yours. Or no. In terms of keeping your word. Since you gave 100, it grabs everything. You can say no. You gave 100, you get $100 worth of chocolate, the rest he doesn't have to keep his word. So here also you see the same thing. He gave a mashkin of 50. That's it. There's no cancellation. The whole chayiv. It could be a quarter. It could be anything. There's no cancellation. Umay mishamet komer Reb Yehuda Hanasi. What did Reb Yehuda Hanasi say? Lach pagdo lenoked like mashkin. Reb Yehuda Hanasi is saying, listen, whatever is opposite the collateral, whatever the collateral is worth, that's how much is not canceled for Shemitah. The rest is canceled. That's exactly our machlokes that we had yesterday. Reb Shimon Gamliel Savar keneged kuloi hukaina. Reb Shimon Gamliel says you don't need a collateral worth the entire loan, as long as you have some of it. Reb Yehuda Hanasi Savar keneged hukaina. No, whatever the collateral is worth, that's what doesn't get canceled in Shemitah. The rest gets canceled. Says Gemara, loy. My name is Shavit Kamar B'Shim Yuliyah Lach Palgid Denokat Alei Mashkan. So we're going to go back. The collateral, whatever the collateral is worth, Rav Shimon Gamliel is the one that says whatever the collateral is worth. So we're going to go back to the first half a minute that according to Rebbe, you get 0. In other words, the collateral doesn't work at all, and the whole loan is batal u'mevutal, you meichel the loan. So that was the question, the first words on this Amud. So why in the world, if the collateral doesn't help, so why is there a collateral? It's just there to remind you that there's a loan, that there was a loan, and in fact, the loan gets canceled. But he gave you the collateral as a reminder. Says the Gemara, brand new sugya. Rav Kahana Yavala Zuzah Kitana. They gave Rav Kahana money for flax. Then the price went up. Similar story that we had the other day when we had salt went up. So now Rav Kahana wants to make money. He doesn't want to sell it to the guy for the lower price. Also, coming to Rav, they went to Rav. You wanted to buy $1,000 worth of flax and you gave him $100. So Rav Kahana, you owe him $100 worth of flax. And the rest, dvarim ninu. It's just plain words. What's the word? How do you say plain? Nothing. Hot air. It's what?
Garnish.
Words. Words are nothing. Udvarim ein bohem mishum mechusri amana. Mechusri amana means lack of trust. So it's not a problem. You're not being not trust. You're not being a chakran. You just said words. We'll see. It's not so posh. Dvarim. Just words. Rav Omar ein bohem mishum mechusri amana. Rav is of his position that okay, so he says some words. I mean, that was the whole Mishnah. You have a Misha Para. Instead of we said yesterday, maybe it has to do with according to one man, you have to add money to it. In order, you need a Maisa to get the words. Okay. So here's the pasuk. Ayikra Perik Yutes pasuk Lamed Vav. Moiznei tzedek avni tzedek efas tzedek v'hin tzedek yilachem. You have to be truthful with your weights. So it says efas tzedek v'hin tzedek. So the question is, why do you need those two weights? V'aloi hin b'chlal efa hoya. There's 6 hins within an efa, so it's the same thing. We get it. You should be truthful with 10 pounds, you should be truthful with 1 pound. It's the same thing. Unbelievable. The word hin could also mean hain, means yes. Your yes is in your nose. In business, whether you tell a person no, you shouldn't be lying, and when you tell a person yes, you shouldn't be lying. Akopanim, you see from here that you're not allowed to, your words mean something. You're telling me words are nothing. It's hot air. It's just words. Gibberish. Just words. Not true. The Torah says, it's a pasuk in the Torah, your yes should be correct. Your no should be correct. Everything should be correct. Says Abaya, yes. When you're facing the guy, you're not allowed to lie. You can't tell somebody A when in your mind you mean B. You tell a guy, look, I'm going to sell you my house, and you know you're not selling him the house. That's a lie. But you can tell a person, I'm selling you the house. Then the next day, you can take it back, according to this shita. Why? Because when you told me you're selling the house, or you're selling, let's talk about a car. Forget the house for a second. I'm going to sell you the car. I wanted to sell it to you. 100% I wanted to sell it to you. Today, I realized the price of Tesla went up, so I don't want to sell it to you. Okay, but it's not echad b'peh v'echad b'leiv. It was echad b'peh v'echad b'leiv. It was the same. My heart and my mouth were the same when I told you I'm going to sell you the car. The pasuk is saying, don't lie to the person on the spot. In your heart, you know you're not selling it to him, so don't tell him you're going to sell it. That's awesome. That's hin tzedek, ephod tzedek. Meis Reb Shimon Oimer, Rav Bishamru Talis Koina, Dinner Zov, Vein Dinner Zov, Koina Talis. With a talus, I can acquire a golden bar, but with gold, or not a bar, a golden coin, but with a golden coin, I cannot acquire a talus, right? Because kesef is not koina. Mikol Malka, I'm kachalacha, nevertheless, you're right, that's the halacha. Avalomru, they said, our Mishnah, Misha Par Manshidar, Mabel Manshidar, Flogo, the Rebbeinu Shalom who took revenge from the Dora Mabel and Dora Flogo, who ostly para b'misha ino oimed b'dibura. I'm scared to escape this. Should I escape it? Should I not? I wanted to show you what Yoshi did yesterday. Beautiful picture of the Dora Flogo above. I didn't even notice. I looked at it today. It's above the clouds, like he's showing. They built a building that trying to do war with HaKadosh Baruch Hu. The Dora Mabel, beautiful stuff he had there. I ain't sure. If you didn't see it, it's good to go back to look at it. Maybe Yosef will throw it in here.
You want to pick up the
Oh, thank you. Some people that are in Muncie have to, prepare for Pesach. They can't just sit there with the buttons the whole shit, especially if there's another shirt coming up. Very good. Avalam Misha Parmanchidar Mavanchidar Flaga, who also the Parman Misha Elioim the Bidiburai. No, it says before us that we are going to take, because we'll take revenge of somebody that just says words. Yeah? So what do? Rav says that words are nothing, and Abai explains that he meant this, he meant that, but it says over here that if you take back your word, because Baruch was going to take revenge. Says Gemara Tanoi, you're right. It's Machlokes Tanoi. Rav passes like the other Tana that says okay. This now it says the Mishnah Baba Kama, Ma'aseh Rabbi Yochanan ben Masio. There's a story with Rabbi Yochanan ben Masio. Shomar lebnoi, say u'schar lo l'poyalim. This is in a Mishnah. Rabbi Yochanan ben Masio tells his son, go get us some employees, some workers. Holachu pasuk lim zoynus. He tells the employees, this is what I'm going to feed you. So I got to tell you this joke because Avi is here. I don't know if Avi heard this one. He probably did. I'm sure he did. Don't jump and say the punchline, okay? For those that didn't hear his joke. So there's three workers schmoozing. One says, if my wife makes me a peanut butter sandwich again, I'm going to commit suicide. So the other guy says, Avi, you know the Maisa? Of course he does. He's holding himself back. Once every 3 months, you say the same Maisa. The other one says, if my wife makes me, it's an Israeli, right? The American says peanut butter. The Israeli says, if my wife makes me chocolate spread again, suicide. And the Hamasnik, he says, if my wife makes me pita with hummus, I'm jumping off. The next day, sure enough, they all three had the sandwiches they didn't want. They all three jump. So at the funeral, the wife of the American says, wow, I used to make my husband his favorite sandwich every day, and he died with that sandwich in his hand. It's unbelievable. And the other Israeli says the same thing. And the Hamasnik's wife says, it's crazy. I had such a good husband. He used to make his own sandwiches every day. Yeah. Zog the Gemara. Bini. I don't understand. You just promised them food. You didn't say what kind of food. Maybe it's like this. Maybe it's a feast, a crazy feast, and they could sue you for that. They could say we want steaks. You didn't say what. If you would have told them exactly what, great, but you didn't say. So why did you make a deal like that with them? Shehein b'nei Avraham Yitzchak Yaakov. They deserve the best of the best. They're the sons of Avraham Yitzchak Yaakov. Before they even start working, this is it. Look what Yoshi did there, because yesterday was the yard side of Avi Mendelbaum. So he threw in a picture of me and Avi when I went to visit him. So he says, you only have pasvikitness. That's it. You have to specify. You are only going to get bread and some beblach, they say in Yiddish. Beblach. It's garnished. Not even choked. Just a bunch of beans. But if it's true that your words, if you're not straight with your words, you're not trustworthy. It's missing from the trust. How did Rabbi Yochanan tell his son, take it back, retract? Says the Gemara, the employees, they never believe they're going to get crazy food. My time, he's just, they knew that it's not him, he's the son. He's just going out there, and it's the father. So they were really soymach on the father. So why did he say, let's do it quick before they start working? So the Gemara, once they start working, then they'll expect more. Perhaps he told his father that he said that they're going to get all foods, and therefore, once they started working, they feel as if they deserve it. The Rabbi Yochanan really say there's a problem that you're lacking trust. He said that in Rabbi Yochanan himself, I'm giving you a gift. Person says, I'm giving you a gift. Yeah, I don't know if it ever happened to you. I've had a few times. I'll give you a car. Then he takes it back. Why? This car is very expensive. So you're not really saying that. So you don't really trust the guy. Yochol pshito. What do you mean yochol? He could. Of course he could. It's only words. Ella mutter lachzor bo. He has all the right to, and there's no problem at all. Omar Papa, Umoy de Rabbi Yochanan, b'matana muetes, the samcha detayu. Rabbi Yochanan is moida by a smaller gift. Since it's a small thing, he tells him, I'm going to give you a pen. A penny has no reason to believe that you're going to take it back. So, Yisrael das. I said this might before, but I think it's a Gevaldik Musar Haskell. I think it's a true story. There was a Jew that met, I think it was the king of Morocco. He was schmoozing, and he says, my son just became bar mitzvah. So he says, what's bar mitzvah? He tells him, you this, put on tefillin, and you work really hard a whole year, lane, this, that, 13 chayav mitzvahs. So the king says, takes out his checkbook and gives him 10,000 euro. So the father said, that's it's a lot for bar mitzvah. He said, no, anything less than that is a bizayon for the kingdom. The king doesn't write less than that. There's no such thing as a check, $180 check from the king. It's not malchus. So Mela, you take that and say to the Rebbeinu Shalom, I'm asking you for parnasa, but there's nothing. Don't give me busha de parnasa. Give me a parnasa of a king. Don't give me busha Torah. Give me what does a king typically give? That's what I want from you. Do it quick before someone else does it. You got to be first in line. Says the Gemara, so we see this yesod about a small gift, a large gift. Ben Levi means a Levi. So Rashi says, call Levi Korban Levi. Okay, in case this time it threw you for a loop and you want to know why it says Ben Levi, the son of a Levi, it should just say Levi. Rashi says all over Shas. It's called a Ben Levi. So listen to this. It goes like this. It's good for you because I'm going to ask you a question now. You ready, Tzadik? Just say yes or no. Do you know what Trumas Meiser means? No, Adrab, tell me. Okay, I'm going to show you what it is and then tell me if I'm right. Very good. He knows. Trumas Meiser. Most guys your age don't know. So you should know you're a big Talmud Chacham already. So it goes like this. You have a Ben Levi. But Yisrael tells a Levi, Kur Meiser Yesh L'cha B'yodi. You're my favorite Levi. You see all this fruit over here? I'm giving it to you. But he never gave it to him. And Levi Rishoy Lasoisoi Trumas Meiser Al Mokem Achar. So the Levi, who he has a chiyuv to give from his fruit that he already has, he has a chiyuv to give truma to the kohen. It's called Trumas Meiser. That he could take from this pile that's not his yet. The Yisrael promised him. So what do you see from here? That when a person promises you a gift, he has to stick to his word. Let's see what it looks like. Okay, that just says that you are soymich that the person is not going to be over on this pasuk. They're not going to speak falsely. It goes like this. I explain why I keep on showing it over and over. This is not going to, even if you're in the share for 5 years and you saw this 400 times, sorry, we got to show it to the new guys. Person has a pile of 100 fruit. He takes 2 of them, let's say, because you could get away with 2%. You could get away with 0.5% if you want. But the average is 2%. You give it to the kohen. Great. That's truma. Meiser is you take 10% what you have left and give it to the Levi. That's meiser. Now, it's not tevel anymore. It's mesukah. The Levi, he also has a chiyuv to take 10% of what he has and give it to the kohen. Why is it called trumas meiser? Because what you give to the kohen is called truma. What the Yisrael gives is called truma gedolah. What the Levi gives is called trumas meiser because he's giving truma from the meiser that he got from the Yisrael. He takes 1 out of the 10 and gives it to the kohen. Is that right? I'm asking you. Good. Okay, good. That's what you thought it was?
Yeah.
No, I'm asking him. He's not part of the shir. How would he know this? If Yisrael can't retract his words, he promised he's going to give the Levi from a pile of fruit. That's why the Levi could be soymich on this pile and consider it his own and say that this pile should be his trumas meiser to the kohen, and therefore he's going to eat all the fruit he has at home, all the meiser fruit that he has at home. He's masaking the tevel over there. But if the Yisrael could retract, why could he retract? Because just dibur, I told him I'm going to give you a gift, and now I don't want to give you a gift. I told him I'm going to buy you a car, and now I'm not buying you a car. It's possible that the pile is not even the Levi's. So he used it as the Trumas Meiser for his fruit at home, but it turns out it wasn't his to do so, and he ate Tevel. See, where it says a real tough answer. No, the Levi took it from the Yisrael. So it was 100% the Levi's. Then he gave it back to the Yisrael, to the Yisrael. If that's the case, you want to be dochik like that. It says at the end, what if the Yisrael decided to take the pile and give it to another Levi? The Levi cannot complain, or in fact, that's the only thing he can do is complain. But he can't sue him in Bezdin. But if it's talking about that it's the Levi's 100%, he just redeposited it, thank you, by the Yisrael, but it's his, it's the Levi's. He pulled it himself, it's his, and now the Yisrael gave away the Levi's fruit to another Levi. I guess the Gemara knew that it's a doichak. The Gemara is saying, listen, I'll prove to you that you can't say this is doichak because it doesn't fit in with the sefer. The bottom line is, it's a great rayo. We're not talking about that it was the Levi's. And you see from here that if a Yisrael or anybody says to somebody, I'm giving you this pile of fruit, he must stick to his word. Says Gemara, so we had already somebody gave money deposit on salt, somebody gave money deposit for flax, and now it's on sesame. Interesting because this Shabbos in Eretz Yisrael, there's no sesame on the challah. I don't know about here in Chicago. Because it's Pesach, Erev Pesach, they don't put sesame on the challah because the sesame gets everywhere. Maybe it's chametz, I don't know. It flies, it's hard to pick up. So, as though yes. Huh?
They put sesame in the regular too, so
it's hard to pick up?
Yeah, talk about notice.
We did talk about it. What did it say over there?
It says that even if it's in smaller space and same amount, but sesame is hard to pick up.
Oh, yeah. With the apples and the sesame, very good. Hard to pick up. You see, it's hard to pick up. He's bringing right. Says Gemara Hadribu. So the Yoshua and Sofi Yaakov Shimshim, the sesame went up in price. Hadribuhu, Vamrula, and they told the guy, Leslan Shimshim Shkoa Zuzah. So he says, you gave a deposit for the sesame. Sorry, take your money back. Lo Shokal Zuzeh. He didn't want to take his money back. Why? He felt the guy's a liar. I know why you want to give me my money back. You want to give me my money back because you don't want to give me the sesame. I want my sesame. I locked in the price. And then the sesame, the money got stolen. Let's think about it for a second. What would you say in this case? Think about it. The guy gives a $100 deposit for the sesame. The seller of the sesame decides to get much more money from somebody else. He says, sorry, take your deposit back. The guy says, I don't want my deposit back. Force me. He says, okay, don't take your deposit back. Then the deposit was stolen. But the guy told him to take this deposit back. He didn't want it. So who's responsible on the deposit?
Who's the shomer?
Is he a shomer or not? No, what do you say? The guy holding the deposit, is this shomer?
Bava Metzia is out the money.
Out the money. Why? Why is he not a shomer?
But he told him, I'm not giving you, take your money back.
But he's lying also.
That's a separate issue.
A separate issue. Okay. Baruch shekivanta to Rava. That's what Rava says. I think it's fascinating.
He's dividing the problems.
He's dividing the problem. No, so he's going to get a curse. He's going to get a mishapara.
But he doesn't have to pay the 100.
Doesn't have to pay the $100. The curse is costing him $100.
Right.
But if he takes responsibility and he gives him back the money, so he doesn't get cursed. Gets it. Okay. Sometimes it's $10,000. Sometimes it's $1 million.
$100.
For $100, no. That's exactly it. I'm gonna tell you later on. I looked it up today. So again, for the sugi later, that they did research, and everybody that they interviewed would be over here. It's coming up in 2 lines. Everybody would be over on the worst of the worst in any situation, married people or killing, whatever it is. For the right amount of money, over on anything. For the right amount of money, they interviewed many people for the right amount of money. Each person has their thing. Some people it's $100, some people it's $100 million. But for money, boom. She's saying, for $100, I'm not going to take a curse. But $1,000, no, I'm still going to start taking $10. Oh yeah, big deal, curse. Okay. Lemon Boy says Gemara like this. Also coming to Rav. Since you were told to take your money, you didn't listen. So certainly the guy holding on to the deposit is not a Shem Sofer. He told you, I don't want this. You know what? Rabbi say, I'm stopping here. Meisvei. Because yesterday I missed the word Meisvei. So that should fill in. For all the Meisveis, I forgot. So here's the Shiloh. Does it work? Yes, I missed one word, but has no context. It's not saying a word. Okay. They could take it, they could cut it and put it over there. Oh, like you,
It goes on the cruise, right? Next day goes on the cruise. He said, if one word gets missed, nothing's going to tell you.
There's no cruise. That's it. I missed the word. I should have just left it as is. I missed somewhere else. I don't remember. Bava Kama. Kivin Amir Loch Shkol Zul Leishakat. Loy Ben Bay Shom Soch Lehavi Yanani Mishum Sochar Lafil Shom Chino Navi Lehavi Yanani Mishum Chino. Omerle Rabbanon Rava. So Rabbanon were there and they told Rava. And what's interesting is Rabbanon weren't even there. The story never even happened. Listen, the Gemara is going to say so. So Omerle Rabbanon, you know how stories go. This and the chassid likes it, and he adds a little bit of his own pepper to the story. Because before you know it, it's hit 10 people, and it just grows. The story just grows. So here, Omerle Rabbanon and Rabbanon were there, and they told Rava, what about the curse? Omar lahu hachinami. In order for him to be potter from the money, he has to accept upon himself the mishapara. He has to accept upon. Otherwise, if you don't accept upon yourself the mishapara, you have to pay the money. Okay. Omer Papi, Omer Ravino, Lididi, Omer Lia, Omer Rabbanon. So Papi says, I heard this from one of the Rabbanon, from one of the Talmid Chachamim, V'Rav Tvus. His name was Rav Tvus. V'Amri Lo, and some say Rav Shmuel Bar Zutru Shmei. Okay, there was a Talmid Chacham. The Havu Yehovele Kol Chalol Do Alma. if they would give him all the treasures of the world. In other words, they give him all the money in the world. This person, all the money in the world, he would not change one word of his. So it happens to be that we Yidden, we say in Kriya Shema every day. What do we say? No, that all the money in the world wouldn't change our mind. We will not be over. How do we say it every day in Shema? No, Rabbi Sai. All the money that I have, I'm not going to be over on anything that you, Hashem, tell me to do it. All the money I have. I mean, so we say it, we just throw it out. I don't know how much we mean it. So here we can mean it. You have to think about it. Somebody comes to you with a gun, do this and this Avera. No, I'm giving everything I own. One of the stories that sticks out right away is that story I keep on saying over and over about the guy that had to give up $5 million inheritance so that his father wouldn't be cremated. It's very hard to understand, to fathom. Who would be able to such an assignment? I don't think I would be able to. $5 million because my crazy brother is not religious, wants to cremate my father? Yeah, if that's what the halacha requires, you go to the Rav first. I don't know. If that's what the Rav says first comes your father's Tvura, then comes your inheritance. If that's the halacha, which I think it is, then you got to do it. That's it. We don't have a choice. So, I'm saying, but these college students, that wasn't the case. Certain things fly out the window at a certain price. You can murder somebody for a certain price. You could be over on everything for a certain price.
That's how they do.
Yeah. So he says, "B'didi havuvda." Maybe I don't know how many times I didn't look it up, but that's a famous lashon that people use. "B'didi havuvda." The story happened with me. I'm the Baal Maisa. I'm going to tell you what the story was. This whole story is not like you think it is. It was literally a few minutes before Shkia, before Shabbos. Amud Beis. R Eli. Oh, sorry. What happened?
Last line. One more line.
How did I skip that? I was sitting, and this guy comes to the door. He knocks on the door. It's an interesting story. Right before Shabbos, the guy needs sesame. Why does the guy need sesame before Shabbos? I'm sorry, I don't have it. Do me a favor. I need to get back to where I came from. It's going to take me a while. It's Shabbos. I'm not allowed to carry it. So please watch this money. You don't want to give me shum, fine, but take the money. The chashchali. I guess it's not. I'm just thinking about it now out loud. I didn't think about it when I learned it. I guess it's.
Then what?
Oh,
carry it home?
that's exactly what I'm thinking now. So yes, there's an eruv, but it's not muktzah. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking out loud. So yeah, so sesame you're allowed to take, but not money. I mean, it's not going to be Michal Shabbos for money. Kidnovations LLC in honor of my uncle Reb Elchanan Pressman and zechus Akiva Simcha Ben Feiga. Official mitzvah motivators in honor of the limud for sponsoring Tsfora for the daily learning by the Gewurtzman brothers for the yardsticks of our grandfathers, Chaber Moshe Ben Rachmil Shalom, an original real Yaki, and a Rav Eliezer Moshe Ben Reb Shema. Where's my pencil? Oh, we're gonna do Nakudas right now. Shema Givaldik. Okay, now should go smooth for the rest of this journey. A little tzeira, a little comments, and everything is Givaldik. Okay. Amarle, sorry. Amarle, level hanos losing becoming above the it's getting dark. Amarle, how basic amach. You know what? I'm not taking responsibility. Here's my house. Do whatever you want. Put it in there. So he put it in the house. Vignu and it got stolen. Also, Kamei the Rava. So they come to Rava. This is the story. I was there. Amarle. Koil ha basic amach. Anybody that just says such a lashon. Here's my house. He's certainly not a shomer sachar. He's not even a shomer chinam or 44 minutes. In. We gotta pick it up. I'm related. So he said to this Talmud Chacham, but they told Rava, what about the Mishapara? And Mishapara doesn't fit into the story because he didn't take back his word. He wasn't selling. He didn't take a deposit on the sesame. He said, I don't have sesame. That part of the story never happened. Reb Shimon So Reb Shimon says, whoever has the money in his hand, he could retract, the other person can't. When the money and the produce is in the hand of the seller, he could retract. But if the money is in the hand of the seller, in other words, the transaction happened. The merchandise is by the buyer, the money is by the seller. The money is in the hand of the buyer. Says Gemara, it's in the hand of the buyer. It's already in the hand of the seller. Because the merchandise, what you get for money, is in his hand. Pshita. Of course, nobody can take it back. It's already done. I'll tell you, there's a mardik chiddush. How did the merchandise get to the buyer's hand? Not because he lifted it up, because he's renting out the warehouse to the seller. You hear what's going on here? Think about it for a second. Somebody rents his warehouse to a seller. The guy sells wheat. And then the guy that rents it out purchases wheat from that guy. So in whose rishos is it? The owner of the warehouse, or the guy that is renting the warehouse? It's in the renter's rishos. But that's not what the Gemara is saying. The Gemara is saying something else. The Gemara says, but the Gemara is admitting to you. The Gemara is just explaining that there's a difference here. Why? And we had this a number of times, very interesting. Rabbana made a gzera. The gzera doesn't apply here. Why? Because you own the warehouse and you're renting it out to the guy. The whole reason why money doesn't work, even though the Torah says money should work, and according to this man, and we say you need to do Mashiach, is because we want the seller to be responsible when there's a fire. But over here, since the purchaser owns the attic, he owns the warehouse, if there's a fire that happened by itself, let's say, so over here, there's a difference when he's the real owner, and this zero that you should do Mashiach doesn't apply here. Okay. In other words, that's why this is a special case where Ma is kainos and not Mashiach. Why? Because he happens to be the owner of the piece of real estate. Says Gemara, another story. We had sesame seeds. What else do we have? Flax. Salt. And now we have wine. He gave a deposit on wine. They wanted to sell the wine to the second in command of the kingdom over there. You know what? I'm out of here. Just give me my money back. I don't want wine. You hear this? He gave a deposit for wine. Now he realizes it's not going to be good. He wants to get out of the deal real quickly. So let me ask you something. Do you think he's over on the Mishapara? The buyer, is he over on Mishapara? He gave a deposit for the wine, but he heard that the king or the guy, a very high upper guy, wants to get the wine, and he's going to take the wine. He's not going to have wine anyway. So he's trying to get out of it. Is there a Mishapara on that?
No. Circumstance at the time.
Right.
It could depend.
Right. I think you're right. I think there's no Mishapara over here. Also, just like the seller has the right to retract before Mashiach, so too the buyer can retract, and there is no Mishapara. Says the Eli Mishnah, Hayno Arba. I know the guy's name. Shlomo Lazarin was coming to us. He's The guest by us in the hotel for Pesach. This is going to be the third year, Beis Hashem. He takes really, really good care of my Akiva in Los Angeles. Gave him a good job, and just he's his stepfather, I guess. So for Pesach, he comes here. He's the one that something to do with the Mishnah. Oh baby, I don't know. It's out. So Rabbi say the next good few daf all the way to Ezra Neshech, which is Daf Samach. So we got about 10 days of Oina. So we got to get used to it. Oina is ripping somebody off when he buys something from you. When he buys movable objects. Thank you. I think we're good over there. But okay.
Next year.
Good. Thank you. So basically, if you charge somebody a sixth more than you're supposed to, how much is a sixth? 13%, 16%? I didn't do
16.6.
16.6. Okay.
Is this only from Talmud?
Yeah, not for kakos. Ein oinover kakos. That we had the other day. Ein oinover. It's a lashon. Ein oinover kakos should be a musik in shas. Ein oinover kakos. Right. So I could buy a property for $1 million, sell for $2 million. Ein oinover kakos. But oina also works in the reverse. So if you bought something, like I did once with real estate, I said over the Maisa that the guy, he was clueless, and he said he told me he bought the property for $20,000 an apartment. And he says, I know, and you know, that just like a car goes down in value, so does real estate. And I'm like, yep, you're right. It goes down in value. And he sold me each apartment for $16,000. That's what it was. A nice building, beautiful building, new windows, new roofs, everything. I know. So it happens once in a lifetime. It's like a gives you a gift.
Does it matter if it's Yehuda?
So I'm saying, yeah, I would never do that to Mishalanu. Never. I mean, halachically probably could. I don't know. I don't know. I would not do that. That's not my style. In that case, since it's not tos akum / listen, he got a price. Who says what the price is? There's no ina in karkas. There's no ina in karkas. So if he undercharged me, what's the issur? He said, I want this. I didn't do anything to him. I didn't convince him. He gave me the price, and I bought it from him. Now, if it was a car, that would be a problem. It's interesting. I'm telling you, what?
What's the market? It's 1/6 of whatever the market is.
Oh.
Who sets what the market is?
First of all, that's one shot. We don't even pass it like that. It's 1/6 of the money. Also, okay, we're going to see that in a second. That's today's okay. But what the market is, yeah, but the market is, you go, there is a market. You have to see what the other property sold for. And it wasn't $16,000. I promise you it wasn't $16,000 in the last 10 years. It's, listen, it's not Chicago, first of all. This is in Decatur, Illinois. It's 3 hours from here. So even today, an apartment is not even $100,000. You know what I'm saying? It's, be lucky if it's 70, 80, I don't know. But still, back then I was buying the same exact building for $40,000 an apartment. I think it was 40-something thousand dollars. The next door building was built by the same contractor, everything, just his building slightly better because it had new roof, new windows, and very good tenants. So, and very low rents. It was much better. But right next door, and we ended up buying the other buildings also for 40-something. I was telling you, that's how the prices over there. Still very cheap over there. Anyway, Zog the Gemara. Mishnah. Hayna arba kesef me'esrim arba kesef l'sela. So, hold on. Okay. If you have 24 coins, so Hayna is 4 out of the 24. 1/6. Arba kesef me'esrim arba kesef l'sela. Shtus lemekach. 6th of a purchase. And when could you take it back? When is there no Misha Para? There's not enough time that you have to show it to a pro. I just thought about it. I don't know if you. There's a thing on that. I don't know what it's called. It has a remote and it's like a glass thing. It shows things, different shows, whatever. VT something, whatever. One of those
square boxes.
Square box. Yeah. Here it has this. Like this, and also, kids, there's something on there that people bring items, and the guy buys them and he sells them. So he always brings a professional, a tagger. if a guy gives you a coin, you have to go. You don't know how much it's worth, so you go to a pro, an antique, right? That he buys antiques. Buys antique. You have to know how much it's worth. A sword. I don't know what. You have to show it to your relative, your tagar. Rabbi Tarfon belud. Now Rabbi Tarfon says no. It's like this. Look at the screen for a second. That's a sixth. Rabbi Tarfon says it's actually a third. You know, Shmoyne Kesef, 8 out of Be'esrim Arba Kesef Lasela, 8 out of 24, which is a third. Shlish Lemekach, a third for purchase. The Samchu Tagri Lud, the guys in Lud were extremely excited about this because now they get to rip people off. Instead of ripping them off a sixth, they get to rip them off a third. It's tremendous profit. By the way, don't be so excited. No. I'm extending the amount of time. Forget the relative, forget the tagar. You have all day. The guy has all day to take it back. Forget it. We like ripping people off a sixth, not a third, as long as they can't take it back. Right? When I bought those apartments, I was nervous that I was going to take it back. So I said I'll only do it on condition that we can close within 2 weeks. Like to rush him and that he shouldn't have any charata. We can't have it. Great. Itma. Rav Omar Shtus Mekach Shoninu. Rav says it's a sixth of the value of the purchase. Ushmul Omar Shtus Mois Nami Shoninu. This Nami is very important. I agree to you, Rav, that it's a sixth of the purchase, but also a sixth of the money. The Gemara is going to explain what that means. Yeah? How much time is it? I can't see. 7 minutes right now. Ooh, so we have to rush over here, and maybe we come back tomorrow. It looks very small, but trust me, it's going to be interesting. Okay.
You're doing the taste tomorrow.
Yeah. No, you don't need to taste tomorrow. The actual sugya is a good one. Shavi shito b'chamsho. If the value is 6 and you sold it for 5, that's a sixth. Shavi shito b'shiva. If it's worth 6 and you sold it for 7, so in one case the buyer ripped him off, in the other case the seller did. It's a 6 more, 6 less. According to everybody, that's called Einah. It's just a question: what happens in Einah? The way we paskin is not so much here in the Mishnah, but the way we paskin is that if it's exact, then you pay the difference. If it's more, it cancels. If it's exactly 6 more, you pay the difference. If it's more than a 6 more, drop more, then it cancels the whole mecca. Says the Gemara. Kipli, where's the machlokes? Shavi chamsha b'shita. If it's worth 5 and you sold it for 6, that's really a fifth. But what happens is the money that you get, the money that is a sixth. V'shavi shiva, if the value is 7 and you sold it for 6, that's a seventh. The Gemara is going to explain more. You're going to understand it much better in a second. He says, lean on. According to Shmuel, you also go based on the money, not so much the value. Both cases are not. You have to go with market value. If you sold something that's worth 5 or 6, then you mevatel the mekach. Shavi shiva b'shita mechila havia. That's only a forgiveness. Ushmul Amar ki aminu mechilo bitol mekach heichad the lekeshtus mishneis dader. When do we say mechila bitol? When you have the two options, that the value and the money is you took a sixth in the money or a sixth in the value. If it's only one of the two, the value or the money, that's what you know. So now now you'll understand a little better, I think. So we go back to this little chart over here. We said if you have 24, this 24, so a shtus is 4 out of 24. Shtus the megach. My love, the zabin shavi esrim be'esrim arba. So if you look at this chart, maybe, okay, this is how you could understand the machlokes here. He sold something that's worth 20, everything that's not in the red box, for 24, including the red box. This is money. You see what's going on here? Now, the shtus is not, we're not going by the value of the object, but the 6 is the total of the money that he gave. So since he gave 24 and he's only supposed to pay 20, so there's a shtus here. Not the value of the car, but how much, in terms of how much more money did he give, over here it's a shtus. Loi, that's not true. That's not what happened. It was actually worth 24. So he paid a 6 less than the value. Now, we're not talking about money. Now we're talking about value. The value of the object, before we thought the value was 20. And he gave 24. So the shtus was in the money. But now we're saying, no, the value is 24. And how much did he pay him? He paid him 20. So he took off a 6 of the value of the object. Minasano, moicher. So who got ripped off here? The seller. That can't be. When, how much time you have to get to retract? As long as you could show it to your friend or your relative. Oh, this is the problem. If you're talking about, you said we're talking about the seller is getting harmed. Over here it says the buyer. If we're talking about a seller, so it doesn't fit into the Mishnah because it says a seller could take it back forever. Over here we see that we're talking about the buyer. Ella, another pshat. The Zabin Shavi Esrim Arba be'Esrim V'Tmanya. He sold something that's worth 24 for 28. Okay? 4 more, but it's a shtus of the 24. It's a 6 of the 24, and you put it on top of the 24, it adds up to 28. Tanan. So now we want to bring the same exact raya just from the other thing, and we're going to do the same thing over again. This one, Reb says the third. He sold something that's worth 16 for 24. So in other words, it's a third in money. He sold something that's worth 24 for 16. So that is taking off from the value of the mekach, not from the money. Minasana, moicher, who got harmed here? The seller. That doesn't fit in. You see, we're not talking about the seller, we're talking about the buyer. He sold something that's worth 24 for 32. All right, fine. It's the same right, same answer. Rabbi Stai, have a wonderful day. Yishkayach for coming. See you tomorrow, hopefully on time at 9 p.m.